It is with great pride that I present our first inductee, Coach Ed Gastingay. I have had the pleasure of working with Ed during my time here at Fitchburg High School, and I do not know of a coach more deserving of this award. Ed worked as head cross-country coach for 20 years, indoor track coach for 4, outdoor track coach for 3. In an outdoor track, his team won the district championship in 1976. As head cross-country coach, from 1974 to 1993, Ed compiled an incredible record of 133 victories and 24 losses. An interesting aside is Ed also coached our freshman girls basketball team for many years, and his record for that team was 133 wins and 24 losses. His cross-country teams tallied 8 undefeated seasons and 9 league championships. Ed is also a member of the Massachusetts Track Coaches Hall of Fame and Brandeis University's Hall of Fame. Coach Gastingay, welcome to the Fitchburg High School Hall of Fame.
People are getting enough pictures. Which mic are you using? I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees, and I hope you enjoy the afternoon as much as I have already, just seeing old friends and former athletes. Just a quick note. I got a call from Fred Sullivan today, and Fred Sullivan, his blood runs red and gray. He has written every write-up for all 6 inductions, and I think most of you realize there's an awful lot of research done, an awful lot of work. Fred is sick, and I thought that I have his phone number. It's an unlisted phone number, but if you care to get it from me, if some of you would give him a call and try to pick him up a little bit, because I'll tell you, he's got to be feeling pretty bad not to show up here. As I look back over 30 years of coaching, my fondest memories are of the wonderful Fitchburg High School students I coached. These students came from many different backgrounds. Some had great talent, but most just had a desire to succeed. I felt my job as coach was to build confidence in each athlete, trying to get each runner to reach his potential. I believe confidence is one of the most important character traits leading to success in life. I posted a saying on my guidance door which read, "You are not in control of where you start in life, but you are responsible for where you finish." I'm still in touch with many of my former runners. Some are here today, like Barney Keenan, Brian Keenan, Shifty LeBlanc, Gary Calcarunta, Steve Wilbur, Chris Woods, Mike Vitelli, Rich Caraba, Joe Latimer, Frank Balaga, and my 2 sons, Greg and Doug. And I'm very proud to say also, someone strayed in here today, all the way from Norway, Eric Hansen. He was an exchange student. When your former athletes remain your friends and stay in touch for years after leaving school, it makes coaching the most rewarding of professions. I worked with outstanding coaches. Some are also here today. Shifty LeBlanc, Rick Gilbert, Mark Ambrose, Chris Woods, Paul DiGeronimo, and Tony Ilario, Dan Brazili, and Ray Cosenza. These coaches who most influenced me understand themselves and made it clear to their athletes what was expected of them. Now, as I watch my grandchildren play sports, I'm impressed with the many volunteer coaches who help young kids get started in sports. I marvel at their positive comments, even to youngsters who constantly make mistakes. Many of these coaches have sports in a proper perspective. My involvement with track and field for 8 years as a competitor and 30 years as a coach has been a rewarding and exciting journey. The sport has provided me with much of my identity. For my peers to honor me here today is the culmination of a lifetime's work in the purest sport of them all. I am humbly grateful to the members of the Fitchburg Hall of Fame Committee for granting me this honor. I give special thanks to my lovely wife, Jean, who has been my inspiration and my balance. I thank Chris Woods for his perseverance in nominating me. Chris is a former runner of mine and a coach who always does what is best for his athletes. I thank my mentor, Erky Kootenin, a giant among men and one of only 3 Olympians born in the city of Fitchburg. I thank my family and friends here today, and especially my parents who are not here, because you truly share in this honor. I thank all the athletes who ran for me, because any success our teams experienced is a direct result of your efforts. May every one of you be blessed with some of the cherished moments I have experienced as a coach. Thank you.
What a great start. Thank you, Ed. Our second inductee is Carl Fellows from the class of 1931. Carl was a 3-sport athlete who participated in football, basketball, and tennis. He captained the basketball and tennis teams in his senior year. Carl went on to the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, where he had a distinguished career receiving varsity letters in football, basketball, and lacrosse. For his athletic efforts, Carl was awarded the Thompson Sword, which is awarded annually to the finest athlete in the senior class at Annapolis. Like many of his generation, Carl Fellows served 4 years as a naval commander at World War II. Carl has since passed away, and unfortunately none of his family members could be reached to attend. So we award him and have him enter the Fitchburg High School Hall of Fame posthumously. Carl Fellows. From the class of 1990, please welcome Darren Bennett. Darren was a 3-sport star, lettering in football, basketball, and outdoor track. He captained all 3 teams in his senior year. I had the privilege of coaching Darren in his senior year, my first at FHS. Besides his extraordinary athletic ability, what stands out in my mind about Darren is what a first-class gentleman he is all the time, on the field, on the court, everywhere he goes. Darren embodies what Fitchburg High School athletics is all about. His awards and accolades are far too many to mention them all. Some of his highlights include district championship in basketball, the Anthony Martinez Award as MVP of the football team his senior year, a district title in track and field, and numerous Midwatch, Telegram and Gazette, and Sentinel Enterprise All-Star teams. After graduation, Darren attended Springfield College, played football and basketball, and currently serves as head women's basketball coach at Skidmore College. Please welcome Darren Bennett to the Fitchburg High School Athletic Hall of Fame.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is a tremendous privilege bestowed upon me to be honored with today's inductees, an unbelievable class. I cannot tell you much stretch from the truth when I can tell you that it started in first grade with the young lady that just handed me out my award, Kathy Flynn. That's where I remember making my first layup in PE class. I was also blessed to be able to grow up on a daily basis competing with would-be soon Red Raider greats, my cousin Richard Gilchrist, class of 1985, and my brother Derek Bennett, 1988, at our table. And having the ability to compete with great people on a daily basis in the world of athletics or academics certainly pushes you to the edge to become your best. We grew up playing games such as stickball, wiffle ball, racing from pole to pole, football games in patches of dirt, tackle football, football on our knees in the house with socks being the football, baseball in sand lots, basketball in the backyard with tire rims with no rims, and shoestrings with a net. And we also played basketball in the house. We just took a wire hanger and hung it behind the door and cut out paper bags. The memories of a youth not being carted around by my parents, not getting rides everywhere we played, and not having things organized for us on a daily basis made this award that much more special. Thanks to the coaches. Special coaches make special people. Brian Keenan, the Broussard brothers, Bob Bundy, Coach Cosenza, Coach Chris Woods, Doug Crutchfield, and the so many other coaches and assistant coaches that led me during my career. Thank you to my teachers and educators. Special teachers make special human beings. Kathy Flynn, Dr. Chikamian, Ann Bennett, and the so many others that were out there educating us during our days. My parents worked tremendously hard, and they were not able to see every game that we played. But they cared, they provided, and they loved better than any parents could have, so this award is theirs as much as it is mine. Lastly, my teammates and childhood friends. I would like to share this honor with them, for without your hard work, competitive spirit, support, and mental fortitude, none of these accomplishments would have come to fruition. May the efforts of Fitchburg High School sports come back alive to the glory days of high school sports, and may we all continue to celebrate every victory of the mighty Red and Gray. Thank you very much.
Wow, these are tough to follow for our upcoming inductees. From the class of 1965, Fitchburg High School welcomes John Sultan to our Hall of Fame. John, like many of our inductees, was a three-sport athlete competing in cross-country, basketball, and swimming. He captained the swim team in his senior year. John was a four-year letter winner in track. However, his dominance in the pool is what made him the most honored athlete of the brilliant class of 1965. John was one of the greatest swimmers ever produced at Fitchburg High School. He was a three-year varsity competitor, and in 1965 became the first Raider to capture a state championship, winning the 100-yard freestyle. John went on to East Carolina University, where he was a three-time All-Southeastern Conference All-Star while capturing 8 conference championships and establishing 5 records. Returning from Fitchburg, all the way from Fresno, California, I am pleased to present John Sultan.
Well, it's hard to believe it's been 50 years since I first put on a red and gray singlet on the freshman basketball team. Doesn't seem that long ago, but I've had many terrific highlights over the years, but my time at Fitchburg High School participating on the track team. And I must say participating because I think Coach Kutunen, Coach Gassengay said to me one time, he said, Sultan, you're pretty good swimmer. He said, it's a good thing, says, because you can't run a lick. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because I was a high jumper, and fortunately I could jump a little bit, but as Coach Kutunen said, I couldn't run worth a lick. But fortunately, my time in swimming was the highlight of my career at Fitchburg High. I started as a sophomore and was fortunate enough to continue and win a state championship, which was my ultimate goal through my time at Fitchburg High. I too would like to thank my coaches, Vince Herring and Bob Cook, for spurring me on to reach the goal that I had. We had a terrific team in 1964 and 65. My teammates, John Harnell, were just fabulous. It's really kind of an emotional thing, and I'm sorry that I didn't prepare any notes, but I'm thankful to be part of the great Hall of Fame class, and thank you very much. Congratulations. Outstanding. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Tara Sweeney, class of 1991. Tara excelled in basketball and softball and captained the basketball team in her senior year. Whether it be on the basketball court or the softball diamond, Tara Sweeney always stood out with her outstanding play, competitive spirit, and ability to play big in big games. She led her team to a district basketball championship in 1990 and a thrilling state semifinal win over powerhouse Agawam. In her tenure at FHS, she was a Telegram and Gazette Super Team member, a Midwatch All-Star, and an All-State Scholastic All-Star, just to name a few. She was also a member of the National Honor Society and a Gold F member. Upon graduation, Tara received an appointment to the Air Force Academy, where she continued that excellence. In her senior year, she attained the highest rank of cadet colonel and the assignment as cadet commander and graduated in May of 1995. Tara, welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Well, good afternoon. It certainly is a pleasure to be with you, and I would like to begin my remarks by thanking the committee members for the honor of being inducted into the Hall of Fame, as you've certainly created a meaningful day for me, my family, and my friends. I am especially grateful because if you know me today, and it's fun looking at all the pictures, that's for sure, you'll know 20 plus years of elapsed time, a bit of neurological disease, and several concussions later, I actually have very little recollection of the personal accomplishments which deem me worthy of standing before you today. So I'm thankful you all remember the athlete I was, and the athlete I like to think is still inside of me somewhere. So my thanks to you. While my personal accomplishments have faded away a little bit, I would like to tell you what I do remember about my time of being an athlete at Fitchburg High School. With a nod to Megan Normandin and Paula Goodchild in the room, I remember the friendship and the camaraderie and the sheer talent of the girls I had the pleasure and privilege of sharing the field and the floor with. As a team, I know we went out to elevate and uplift each other every day. And we each had awesome games. We each had tremendous plays. And we each had an important role in what we accomplished for Fitchburg High before each other. I know I developed as an athlete because of the time and dedication my teammates gave. So it's humbling to be the one standing here when I know it took all of us to put me here. So thank you to all of my teammates. I remember the encouragement of Coach Hilario, Coach Brazili, Coach Gastingay, my teachers, my supporters. As a young woman, I had some lofty goals and dreams, and thankfully, I had tremendous support from almost everyone who crossed my path. And when you have such widespread assurance that yes, you're going to achieve your goals, and yes, you're going to make your dreams a reality, what an incredible gift. So thank you to all of you out here who helped me do the things I wanted to do, but more importantly, be the person I wanted to be. I remember the love of my family and friends. The encouragement and support that you guys provided to me was absolutely incredible. Many of you, thankfully, are here in the room. Of course, many could not quite be here, so whether near or far, I'm grateful to all of you who are sharing in this day with me. I would like to highlight a few folks, the Kellys, Patty and Mike. The depth of my gratitude cannot adequately be expressed in words, so please know I love you so very much. Mom, Dad, Mark, and Adam, when we received the news of my election to the Hall of Fame, I turned to each of you and I said, can you even believe that? And I honestly asked that question, can you even believe that? And each of you looked back at me quite matter-of-factly and said, yeah, of course we can. And that still strikes me. So thank you for all of the similar expressions of confidence in me over the years, sharing in my highs and my lows, feeding me basketballs, catching my throwdowns, whatever it took. Thank you for always being what it took. And Jenny. Jenny and I have been together for 15 years, so my time at Fitchburg High School and the Air Force Academy clearly predate our relationship. But I will tell you, there is no one in this room who feels the impact of my athletic years more than my wife. I played hard, I practiced hard, and I hit the ground hard, usually with my head. And Jenny is the one who helps me pick up those pieces now. I would say, given that some memories were destined to fade, I am particularly grateful that the ones that I retain are not the personal accolades, but they are the ones of the friendship and the strength and the commitment and the love that I certainly experienced then, and I know I continue to feel today. Every time I turn around, I have all of you around me, and I'm particularly grateful for the presence of each of you in my life. If I can conclude my remarks with an overarching thank you to Fitchburg High School, the community at large. It is an honor to be a representative of our school in this way, because I know it's this very school that has helped give me so much in my own life. So thank you for this honor, and thank you for the beautiful day.
Great job. Congratulations. Stephen Shifty LeBlanc, class of 1966, enters the Hall of Fame as a contributor. Steve worked in the Fitchburg Public Schools from 1972 to 2005. His contributions to his alma mater are well chronicled in the write-ups in the program, but I will try to touch on some of the highlights. His many duties in his tenure, are you ready for this, include tennis coach, girls indoor track coach, girls outdoor track coach, faculty manager, Booster Club advisor, yearbook advisor, and class advisor. When I met Steve in 1989, one thing was very clear. He was a Red Raider, and he lived for Fitchburg High School and loved serving our school and its students. He was always willing to go the extra mile to make FHS a better place and to help our students. Steve is now enjoying his retirement in Florida, always seeming to call me in the office on a January morning, tell me just get off the golf course and that's 75 degrees. Thanks, Steve. I always appreciate that. On behalf of thousands of students, thank you, Steve, and welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Those of you who know me know that I am a man of very few words, very short stories, and I've been reminded by at least half of the Hall of Fame committee to keep my remarks short. So I shall. In 1971, following my graduation from Salem State College, I was given an interview for a position as a business teacher at my beloved Fitchburg High. In that interview, I was asked several times would I be willing to take on extra duties as a coach or as an advisor or a club advisor and things like that. And after 34 years, I feel that those questions have been answered. I'm very thankful for the opportunities that were given to me as a teacher, an advisor, a coach, an athletic faculty manager. I am thankful for the respect of my students, the athletes, the club members, and the friendships of all those who worked for me and I worked with. Over the 34 years, I've had the privilege to work for and with some incredible people. Along the way, I would like to give thanks to them. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee, first of all, for this nomination. Thank you to the superintendents, Dr. Finch, who hired me, Dr. Wallace, Toro Halforce, Phyllis Lyonnaise, and especially Dr. Fallon. Principals Stan Good, Aaron Nelson, Ernie Hunter, Joe Lano, Bernie Welch, Rich Masciarelli. Thank you to the athletic directors, Jack Conway, who gave me my first coaching job, Tom Crank, Doug Grutchfield, and Ray Cosenza. Thank you to the coaches, my mentors, Erky Kootenin and Eddie Gastingay, who was also honored here this evening, whom I had the privilege to run for during high school. And one quick story, when Eddie first started coaching, we had won a championship down in St. John's, and on the bus ride back, we had decided we were going to throw the two coaches in the shower. Well, Eddie could hear the rumblings in the back of the bus, and he got himself located near the front door. And as soon as the bus pulled into Crocker Field, Eddie was off the bus and gone. Unfortunately, no one on the team could catch him, as he was still in fantastic shape. Thanks to the following coaches: Mark Ambrose, Chris Woods, Craig Shalafu, Kathy Eckley, Mike Lavers, Phil Moore, the late Jack Jerzyk, and the late Don Woods, the best track and field coaches in the area by far, none. Thanks to the Crocker Field caretaker, Tommy Shea. Tommy and I worked well in hand as a faculty manager, and we knew what just had to be done to put on an athletic contest down at Crocker Field. Thanks to the athletic director's secretaries, who Ray knows so well, their right-hand people in the office: Rhea Snyder, Betty Cake, and Bonnie Girton. Thanks to the friends who worked and supported me when I was the athletic faculty manager. These people by far were the best crew I've had the pleasure of working with and serving for me. Bill Michaels, Gene Demers, Rick Howard, Peter Hyatt, Tammy Miner, Henry St. John, Steve Gallant, Diane Howard, Deanne Alott, and Fred Sullivan. Your loyalty and dependability is unsurpassed. And my last thank you goes out to, as coaches know, you rely on these people tremendously, and that's our bus driver. And I seem to have a personal bus driver by the name of Phoebe. And she's not here this evening, but she always got us to the event and back from the event safely. And that means a lot. And finally, I would like to give special thanks to my family. The sacrifices that are endured to do all these jobs is endless. Thanks to Susan, my ex-wife, and my current wife, Colleen, and for my children, Erica, Melissa, and Jody, and my stepchildren, Andrew, Evan, and Elizabeth. One could never have done these jobs without their support. Thank you very much.
In 23 years at FHS, I have been blessed with the opportunity to coach many outstanding student athletes. Jason Toomley is clearly one of the finest I have ever been around. Jason was a member of the class of 2001 and starred in football, basketball, and baseball for 4 years. He captained all 3 sports in his senior year. As gifted as Jason was as an athlete, what set him apart was his relentless work ethic. To say Jason's career at FHS was storied would be an understatement. A few highlights include a 4-year starter on the varsity baseball team, captaining an undefeated Super Bowl championship football team, being named to the Massachusetts All-State team in football, and being chosen the defensive MVP in the state. Midwatch A MVP in football and baseball, and numerous all-star teams, National Honor Society, and Gold F. For his efforts, Jason received a scholarship to the University of Massachusetts to play baseball. He was later drafted by the Boston Red Sox. When I called Jay to inform him that he'd be inducted into the Hall of Fame, both as an individual and with his 2000 team, his response was, and I quote, "That is so awesome that our team is being inducted." That says it all, what Jason's all about. It was clear to me that being inducted with his team was more important than his individual honor. Congratulations, Jason, and welcome to the Hall of Fame.
People out here. All right, well, I've had a lot of accomplishments, but I'll be honest with you, through everything else, this is probably the most nervous I've ever been in my life, so bear with me. Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank the Fitchburg High School Hall of Fame Committee for putting together this amazing event. There's so many people I'd like to thank for making this day possible for me. For starters, I'd like to thank the coaches who I've had the luxury to learn from over the years, and have made the opportunities in my life possible, and for being like fathers to me. To my teachers, for putting up with me, but at the same time shaped me into a scholar athlete. To my family, for instilling in me the love and passion to be my very best on and off the athletic field. For instilling in me the love and passion to be my very best and sacrificing everything for me, words cannot describe. One very important person I'd like to thank who unfortunately cannot be here with us today. This is the man who always saw the best in me. Without him, my opportunity to attend the University of Massachusetts to continue in my career would not have been possible. He was a great supporter and contributor to the FHS Hall of Fame Committee, and a man I personally truly miss, and I feel you all do too, the late Doug Rutschfield. When I look back at my years at Fitchburg High, it's hard for me to say everything took place my freshman year. I have to go back to when I was 12, 13, and 14 years old, being a water boy for the football team with my best friends John Shea, Tim, Sean, and PJ Roy, Keith Levitt, who I swore every time we traveled to an away game, the opposing coach thought we picked up the 6'8" monster on the side of the road before the game. Being a part of this program and learning from the very best athletes who walk through the halls of FHS, Zach McCall, Todd Stefanini's, the Keenan brothers, Matt Salila, Dan Schneider, who we'll honor later on today. Those are the people who I learned from and learned a lot about Fitchburg High. These men took me as their little brother and taught me the game of football. Fast forward a few months later, and you would see me at Crocker Field with the baseball team, shagging fly balls and taking batting practice. I remember just making it to the opening pitch during my time playing with the Phillies in the Fitchburg Babe Ruth League on more than one occasion. I was having so much fun playing talking baseball and hanging out with the high school guys, I really felt like I was part of the team. It was during these times when my love for the game of baseball started to form. I can't honestly stand here today and say that my athletic career at FHS was how I could have drawn it up, because it wasn't. My freshman year, instead of playing for the freshman football team, I was a starting JV quarterback. In basketball, I played only a few games of the season before I was called up to dress for the varsity team. And in baseball, I was a starting right fielder for the varsity. It was hard, not just from a competitive standpoint, but it was hard for me to say for the first time in my life, I couldn't look to my left or to my right and not see the friends I grew up playing ball with. But I knew this was an opportunity for me to compete amongst the best and to be the best possible athlete to walk through the halls of Fitchburg High School. What made my athletic career so special at FHS were the players that I had the fortunate honor to play with. As I'm sure you will hear in our little montage as we honor the 2000 football team, we were like a band of brothers. What made my time at Fitchburg High School so memorable was the time I got to share with these guys and the memories that we made, something I will never forget. Not many players can say that their mothers during every Friday night football game would stand in the bleachers as though they were part of the student crowd, wearing dog chains and playing Who Let the Dogs Out. Best group of parents who could have made a one-hit wonder seem like a Grammy winner. It was moments like this that I will cherish for the rest of my life. During my 4 years at FHS, my teammates and I amassed a Midwest League title in baseball, a Super Bowl appearance in '98, falling to a gifted Springfield Cathedral team, but once again returning to the Super Bowl in 2000. And I think we can honestly say how that team turned out. Through all of my athletic accomplishments, I knew it could not have been possible if my determination wasn't matched in the classroom. My greatest triumph at FHS was graduating with honors and as a Gold F recipient. It was because of the teachers and guidance counselors that I had the honor to learn from that allowed me to compete on the athletic field each and every day. It was because of their wisdom and tutelage that I was able to continue my education with a scholarship to the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, where I would be a 4-year starting outfielder for the UMass baseball team. During my time at UMass, I continued on with my goal to be the best that I could possibly be and take all possible odds heads on. This determination led me to a second and first team athletic 10 honors during my junior and senior year, a New England All-Star recipient, and a chance to play at Fenway Park in front of hundreds of Major League Baseball scouts. Finally, on June 8, 2005, I heard my name over the MLB website as a 24th round pick of the Boston Red Sox. My dream had finally come true. All the work that I had set forth since I was old enough to remember had finally paid off. I was officially a Boston Red Sox, sharing the field with Kurt Schilling, Josh Beckett, David Ortiz, and Kevin Youkilis, just to name a few, was not that bad. But would never replace the time that I had sharing the field at Fitchburg High School with my teammates. Without them, I wouldn't be able to stand up here today and be given this opportunity to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. In closing, I would like to use a quote from the great Packers coach Vince Lombardi. I firmly believe that in man's finest hour, the greatest fulfillment of all that he holds dear is that moment when he has worked his heart out in a good cause and lies exhausted on the battlefield victorious. When it's all said and done, I firmly believe that my time at Fitchburg High School was fully exhausted in both the classroom and on the athletic field, that the time I shared with my friends and the accomplishments that we made are memories I will never forget, that the mark I made on the Fitchburg community was worthy enough that of a Hall of Famer. I stand here today proud, honored, and privileged to be part of this city and an inductee into the Fitchburg High School Hall of Fame. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee is Frank Balaguer from the class of 1985. Frank participated in cross-country and outdoor track for 4 years, captaining both teams. He also competed in indoor track during his junior year. Fitchburg has had many outstanding cross-country and distance runners throughout the years. However, none have been able to catch Frank, literally. He still holds the record in cross-country at a home course at Cogs Hall, which has stood for over 25 years, and he holds the school's indoor mark in the 2-mile. His career was lined with many huge wins in very prestigious events, but probably none bigger than in his senior year when he won the cross-country district championship at Gardner Golf Course. Frank currently resides in Fitchburg, where he has served for the Fitchburg Police Force for the past 19 years. And now he is a Hall of Famer. Frank Balaguer.
Thank you, Coach. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start off by thanking the Hall of Fame Committee for inducting me into the 6th Hall of Fame class. I am honored to be part of this class and congratulate the other inductees on their induction. That's quite a feat of accomplishments. My parents, Francisco Sr. and Derida, who are in attendance, are owed a big thank you because of the work ethic they taught me and the support they provided for me. They're seated right over there. My sports-related experiences at Fitchburg High School are still memorable, and I wouldn't trade them in for anything. I was able to compete at the Division I level because of Coach Gassingay and Coach Woods. They provided me with the base that was needed. My true running passion was cross-country, which I ran for 4 years under Coach Gassingay's guidance. He was the first coach I ever ran for at the high school. I always look forward to the beginning of the season. Every year, the group of guys that gathered for the first practice turned into a small, close-knit family by the end of the year. Some of those guys are here now, and it was a surprise to see them. Somehow, Coach managed to turn a painful event into a pleasurable experience. After all, we were supposedly running in the second hilliest city in the nation. We worked hard, but also had some fun along the way. I remember the 6-mile reservoir run, which had a reward midway through the run. On occasions, we'd jump into the reservoir and cool off. Then there was the apple orchard run, which one could never get tired doing this one because of the endless supply of apples we had to carve up on. We borrowed a lot of apples along the way. Coach taught me how to work hard and accomplish goals, and his planning was what got me into college. I can still remember all the letters he sent on my behalf to all the universities and the letters to the coaches. While in college, I met quite a few of the best coaches in the nation, and I know Coach Gassingay could have easily competed against these guys. I will forever be grateful for what he did for me. Thank you, Coach.
Great job. We are breaking records today in terms of time. Our last individual inductee, and certainly not our least, is Dan Schneider. Dan was in the class of 1996. Dan played football, basketball, and outdoor track, and captained the football and basketball team. He was a Telegram and Gazette All-Star in 2 sports, a 3-year starter in football, playing in 4 straight Super Bowls. He holds the distinction of having never lost to Leominster in any sport for 4 years. Dan was selected as an All-State Top 26 All-Star, and he played in the annual Shriners game at BU Nickerson's Field. Dan was a throwback athlete. Oh, you must have saw the picture. I had to put that in, Dan. Dan was a throwback athlete, showing up for work every day of practice or games or meets, ready to compete. For his efforts on the field and in the classroom, Dan received a full scholarship to attend the University of Massachusetts to play football, where he was a starter on the 1999 National Championship team. Dan currently resides in Barre, Vermont, where he works as a trooper for the Vermont State Police. Please welcome Dan Schneider.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this great honor. I would like also to thank everyone that helped me win this award. Big special thanks to my family and friends that showed up today. And with that being said, also to Coach for all the extra bribes he had to give the committee for getting me in here today. Some of my best memories growing up revolves around sports, like everyone else here. Sports was a very big part of my life. I can remember the very first practice I had in Pop Warner. We were trying to figure out, the coaches were trying to figure out where everyone was going to play on defense, and I was the linebacker. And one of the coaches actually had to stop because I just enjoyed running around and tackling people. It was the first time I could really do it without getting in trouble by my parents. And the coach told me I had to stop because they needed to find the other linebacker, and I running into other people. So I remember in high school, there's so many great memories. It's hard to name a couple of them up here. I had a great honor to play with my brother Matt, who was 2 years older than I am. Him and Jim Thomas gave me a couple scars to remember because I was the dummy on when they played defense. I was the tackling dummy, so they scarred me up pretty good. I remember my very last game in college playing, how difficult that was. Many of the athletes can remember how hard it is to give up a sport that's very important to you. I played for over 12 or 15 years of football, and for it to end pretty much in one day, it's hard. It's very hard. Football has given me great opportunities in life. It gave me a scholarship to go to UMass and get an education for free and lift the burden on my parents. And that's more important than I could ever think of, is giving them a break too. I remember the first time I ever thought about playing college football. It was Coach Deej in the cage where after my junior year, we were returning our equipment, I handed him my helmet, and he told me if I focus, I have a chance to play at the next level. And that was the first time I've ever thought about playing college football. I remember the countless times Coach calling me down to the office and just to say hi to a recruiter, and I can't remember how many hours he probably had to put on talking to recruiters on the phone and just doing tapes or whatever it is. Thank my parents for the countless times that people are calling for me at the house and answering, and being a secretary for the schools calling. But one of my fondest memories of football and in college and in high school is it doesn't even revolve around me actually playing. It was during my warm-ups. I'd go out and I'd look for my folks in the stands every game, and just to try to find them. My dad would be standing up. My dad's 6'5", so it's really easy to find him in the crowd. And once I found him, I could go on with my business, but it was always important for me to find them. And I did that in Fitchburg and also at UMass. I always thought that football always made me the person who I was, made me mentally tough, and gave me the tools to succeed in life. But as older I got, I realized that it wasn't the football, it was my folks and my family that installed those tools and the mental toughness in me. And what sports did for me here at Fitchburg gave me an avenue to refine those tools and to help polish it up and help me to succeed in life. There was always a part of me that played as hard as I could, just so I could make my folks proud. That was a huge driving force. Wasn't really for anything for me. It was just to try to make my folks proud of me, and I hope I am doing that. I hope to pass on the tools that my family installed in me to my son, and I hope to have him grow up to be a better man than I am. I know without my family's support, I wouldn't be able to accept this award. So I believe, as people have said, this award is given to me, but a large portion goes to my family. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone that came and supported me throughout my life, all my coaches, my family. Kim, you know how special you are to me. Even my best friend showed up last minute. I didn't know he was going to come. He showed up, said he wouldn't miss it for the world. I just feel extremely lucky for all this, and I just want to thank you again, Coach, for everything you've done for me. Coach Deej, everything. Coach Gretschfield, for everything he did. Like I said, it's countless people that helped me through my life, and I wouldn't have been here without them. And once again, thank you very much.
The last group to go in, the 2000 football team, Division I Super Bowl champions. This team was ranked first in the state of Massachusetts and finished with a record of 12-0. Few incredible statistics from that group. That season, they scored 407 points and only allowed 140. They were ranked number 1 in the state, but just as impressively, ranked 3 on the East Coast. They were captained by Jason Toomley, Tim Roy, and Frank McDonald. Now, rather than have one person speak for this team, thanks go to Mike Thomas for putting together an incredible video, a short video with comments from a number of people, which really, I think, encapsulates what this group was all about. The 2000 team, I think its record and the accolades they're receiving speak for themselves, but I think what sets this team apart is the kids and the type of people they were. This was not our most talented team that we've coached. but there haven't been better teams.
We were kind of a mixed group, you could say.
We were definitely unique, and I think that's kind of what has made us so special.
It's a group of kids out there that just love to play football.
We're kind of like a band of brothers, if you will.
But I can remember the first day I met T. Roy.
Some of us played together, 5 years of Pop Warner and 4 years of high school. That's 9 years.
Norman, you had Frank, you had Jay.
Mike Thomas, Tim Keenan, the Roys.
Timmy Keenan, AKA Bones. You know, Bones was all over the locker room.
Bones, the energy that he could bring to any situation.
The biggest character in my mind was Jimmy Alexander.
You never knew what Jimmy was going to do.
Oh God, I'm just laughing just thinking about it. There was a lot of guys who were different, who were brought together by a common goal, which was a cool thing.
Everything just came together because everybody brought something to the table.
There's no way you're going to be successful unless you guys are tight, off the field, on the field, and that's what we had.
We didn't have the best athletes. We didn't have a superstar on the team.
It was just fun, man. We were all friends.
Such a unique group of guys.
Everybody played their own role in the team, whether how small or how big it was.
It didn't matter if seniors, juniors, sophomores.
Football was the one thing that they had in common.
You know, you got on the field, you knew what you had to do, and you did it.
It's a matter of trust, come and jump on the bus. You got me wishing, always in a rush, made me screaming and cuss. Won't you listen? You can't do no wrong when we're alone. You sing different sound when you're not heard.
They had the greatest work ethic, too.
It started, from when we were freshmen and all the way on.
There weren't many high schools lifting at 5:15 in the morning.
3 days a week, all the time, and they never missed.
The coaches and their structure and their discipline, it made us grow as individuals and as men.
Coach Deej, Ray.
Down and back, down and back.
Especially for us linemen, nobody liked the conditioning.
Down and back, down and back.
We would have a good time in practice. You picked up rocks and you bounced them off people's helmets.
That team and the coaching staff went hand in hand. We probably have as much fun in this room as you guys do in the locker room.
The locker room every day was adventurous, to say the least.
Oh, wow. Let me tell you.
We'd have fun, but we knew the difference between, having fun and getting down to business.
When the whistle was blown, we knew you guys would crank it up and get it done. After doing this for so long, the stuff that goes on in the locker room, nothing really surprises me. What I remember about this group is you guys had a blast all the time. You drove me nuts in the locker room. You drove me nuts on the bus rides home. I'd have a headache from the singing. Your singing ability was horrendous, but it was fun.
When life brings trouble, you can fight or run away. I have no struggle. Relax, watch me float away. I'm coasting on a dream. I'm coasting. This one's for you and me.
No one has love for another individual like that, especially at that age. If I had a 50, 70-yard run, they're running all the way down to congratulate me. You know what I mean? And I can't express how that feels, and I think that defined us as a team.
Talk about games that you remember. You gotta talk about the big three. You gotta talk about, St. John's, Brockton, and Xaverian.
Didn't matter who we were playing. The approach was always the same.
We were out there to just annihilate people.
Went down to Marciano Stadium in Brockton, beat Brockton in Brockton and beat them pretty handily.
It was a lunch pail group.
Okay, we're playing Xaverian tonight. Let's get our stuff on and let's go to work. Obviously, you got to talk about Thanksgiving.
Beating Leominster was always the #1 goal on our team. We wanted to make a point of beating them and beating them bad, and we did.
We always said, the winning team gets the meat and the losing team gets the bones of the turkey. So I'm happy to say our senior year we were able to eat the meat that day.
One thing that sticks out in my mind was the Super Bowl. Got to the gate just to get onto the field. You just saw the Fitchburg cheering section, just everybody came to their feet.
It was such a big deal. It wasn't just the team, it was the community.
Just said, we're gonna finish this thing today. We're gonna find a way, and we did. And that was just something that always stuck out in my mind, that how much the community got behind us. It was special.
They all still take great pride in what they accomplished and what it meant to our school and our city.
You wish it away so fast because you're tired of the practices, you're tired of running, all this other stuff, but it hits you home at that end point that you're never going to do this again. And the fact that we went out 12-0, undefeated, first team ever, really put the icing on the cake.
We worked hard, we played hard, and we partied hard. It was a good time.
It's something I'll always cherish for the rest of my life.
They're a great group of guys, great character, and you know, we're all brothers, and that will never change.
Special thanks to Michael Thomas for doing an incredible job on that video. Now I'm going to introduce the staff and the members of that team. I'm going to do that, and I ask to please hold the applause until the entire team. We're going to mention everyone, even if they could not make it. First of all, with our staff, our EMT, Alan Toomley, coaches, and I'm going to have them please come up and receive your plaque as well. Coaches, Mick O'Reilly, Craig Shalafu, Chris Canning, Paul DiGeronimo. Our manager, Dan Hawkins. From the sophomore class, Chris Baroni, Matt Brown, Mike Brown, Ryan Christian, Josh Doherty, David Garreau, C.J. Jones, John Lewis, Ryan Logan, Steve Morella, Charlie Perillo, Seth Rinquinter, Ethan Shea, Nathan Shea, Frank Sienkiewicz, Matt Stewart, Aaron Storm, Andy Sweat, John Torero, and Mark Thomas. Our juniors, Brian Bouvier, Norman Cole, Ryan Davenport, Jordan Dursa, B.J. Fitz, Drew Ledger, Corey Nass, and Joe Rouse. And our outstanding seniors, Justin Tusignan, Jim Alexander, Steve Bastine, Nick Brandenburg, Tim Karen, Nandito David, Pat DeGrazellis, Marcus DiNatale, Anthony Finelli, Tom Foote, Jesse Forrester, Dan Gallipo, Andrew Goodwin, Tim Keenan, Ernie King, Mike Lopez, Joshua Bourne, Sean Roy, John Shea, Mike Thomas, and our three outstanding captains, Jason Toomley, Frank McDonald, and Tim Roy. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2000 Super Bowl championship team. What a great afternoon. I want to thank everyone for attending. I want to congratulate our inductees, our newest members into our Hall of Fame. I want to thank all of our supporters for what you do for Fitchburg High School and for our athletic department. In closing, know that everyone here, athletes, parents, coaches, you're all part of Fitchburg High School and you make a difference. Thank you for everything you do. Have a great afternoon. Thank you very much.